Okay, 17th episode of AI is Hit. This week for another photographer that we will use to attempt to discover how AI is capable of doing photography with style. So again, I will rely on OpenAI with Dall-E and Midjourney for illustrations, and for the historical data, I will rely on ChatGPT. And yeah, please go check the real data in books, online, in exhibitions, wherever, or in your memory if you know already the work of this photographer. But okay, AI, can you please give us more information on his biography?
He was a French photographer known for his fashion, portrait, and fine art photography. He was born in 1933 in Paris and began his career as a photographer in the 1950s, working for magazines such as Elle and Harper's Bazaar. He quickly established himself as one of the leading fashion photographers of his time, working with top models such as Verushka and Twiggy, and shooting advertising campaigns for brands like Dior, Yves Saint Laurent, and Chanel. His work is characterized by a strong sense of composition, elegant lines, and use of black and white, and emphasizes the textures and shapes in his images. He was known for his ability to create photographs that were both striking and sensual, and his work often had a sense of mystery and suggestion. He was also a master of the portrait, capturing the personalities and emotions of his subjects with skill and sensitivity. In addition to his fashion and portrait work, he also produced a significant body of fine art photography, often working with nudes and still lifes. He had many solo exhibitions, and his works are in the collection of several museums, such as Centre Georges Pompidou and the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston.
Yep. Okay, so interesting. Like every week, for those who are used to the series, I request images from Dall-E that are in the style of that photographer. And so for those who haven't guessed yet, I'm not sure the example actually worked pretty well, in my opinion, but it's Jeanloup Sieff. Let's hear a bit more about his style. AI, could you please give us more information?
Jeanloup Sieff's style is known for its elegance, refinement, and a strong sense of composition. He has a keen eye for detail and a masterful use of light, shadow, and texture to create images that are both striking and sensual. His photographs often have a sense of mystery and suggestion that keep the viewer engaged and wanting more.
Okay, so this week, after a few weeks where I was really not very convinced of the results, here I think it's getting better. We do have the strong contrasty looks in black and white that we could find in Jeanloup Sieff's work. The compositions are also quite similar. There's definitely, it seems to be inspired. Let's hear a little bit more.
Sieff's work is also distinguished by his preference for black and white photography. He was able to create powerful and evocative images using this medium, particularly in his nude and still lifes. He also used color in some of his work, but he was particularly adept at capturing the nuances of light, shadow, and texture in black and white.
Okay, here again, I think it works pretty well. Definitely the photographic look, style, and rendering is closer to photography than a drawing, or like we've had in previous weeks. One thing to know is I type the requests according to what ChatGPT gives me back, but we don't really know what training data AI has used to create those images. But one thing I saw is when I was asking, even if I didn't ask for anything nude or anything weird, the results were often censored by Dall-E. And that, I think, is kind of a problem we're starting to have. Maybe this kind of Anglo-Saxon Puritanism where, you can't see nudity or things like that. And Jeanloup Sieff's work is really quite full of those. So I think there's a strong link to the results which were censored in many occasions, even so I didn't ask for anything nude. So kind of a worry in my opinion, but let's listen a little bit more.
He was a master of the portrait, capturing the personalities and emotions of his subjects with skill and sensitivity. In addition to his fashion and portrait work, Sieff also produced a significant body of fine art photography, often working with nudes and still lifes.
Okay, here again to black and white pictures. That could work pretty well, could be related to his work. I think I do see some of the inspiration. But yeah, a nice series. I'm more hopeful in terms of quality from this week than from the few previous weeks we had. I think it's more, we do see more of the personality of this photographer through those requests. But yeah, as we have this virtual Jeanloup at disposal, let's maybe ask for the usual weekly custom creation. Could we have a color photo of 3 young women wearing suits from the 80s, sitting on a photo set and drinking colorful drinks? Photo in the style of photographer Jeanloup Sieff? Will it even be clothes? Okay, so the 2 first ones. Okay, the one on the left, I'm not really sure. There's a sense of, it looks fashionable, it works pretty well. The picture on the right, I'm using Dall-E, of course, for the 4 first results, and I do a selection of the best works I got back with this strict request. But I've used this multiple zones to extend the size of the results on Dall-E. It's new. I think it's more of a scheme for economical reasons that they're doing this, because users will have to pay for the extra surface calculated, instead of having, as some time ago, everything in the frame. It will cut, like we have on the left picture, it will cut parts of them and pushing the user to go and create an extra surface. I think that's part of the scheme. It's not really, it could have been compressed and condensed into one zone, square zone. But apart from that, I think the results are pretty nice. I like the picture on the right. I think it looks almost like it was inspired by Jeanloup Sieff. The 2 next pictures, I'm not really sure, but I think there's, in the way the models pause, the composition, the background on the picture on the right, not sure the medium is really there, but there's something, I would say there's something that looks like it. I could have maybe luckily guessed Jeanloup Sieff as an inspiration if I didn't know, but yeah. And for the last 2 pictures, I'm requesting Midjourney, the same request. And here I get this usual, for those who've been following this series, Midjourney or been using Midjourney. There's this kind of varnish on top, which is more of a Midjourney style than anything else. The way the surfaces glow and the textures, the skin quality, and also the way the subjects, human subject, how they look. They either look at the camera or have those weird unsynchronized looks, all looking in different directions. Kind of weird, but here it works pretty well, I guess. Not sure, again, the material, the way the photo looks in terms of textures, color, rendering, the balance would be Jeanloup Sieff. But there's something. And yeah. Anyways, it's not meant to be scientific. It's more of an entertaining series, and hopefully that will motivate you to go check the real work from Jeanloup Sieff online in books and in museums or galleries. And yeah, don't hesitate to post your comments, your what you think of the results, and catch you next week.